Hello and welcome to the Everything is Black and White podcast. It's time for the view from the opposition. And this week it comes from Matt Hall, and he's going to kindly provide the insight into Bromley FC, Newcastle United's opposition on Sunday in the third round of the FA Cup. Matt works for Bromley, as you can see there. If you're watching on YouTube, there is the badge behind him. And we've just been speaking off camera, and there is real excitement, as you may expect, running through Bromley FC ahead of Sunday's tie. Matt, you were saying how busy you've been with plenty of interviews with other broadcasters, so we appreciate you taking the time. Just how excited are you to make the journey up with the rest of the team and the board on Sunday?
Really excited. It's a dream tie for this football club. We spoke about off camera that this is Bromley's first ever kind of foray into the third round of the FA Cup. And even in the second round, we hadn't been there since 1946. So this is really, really exciting for us. It's wonderful that Andy Woodman has the connection he does with Newcastle United. And he had 5 excellent years at St James's Park, and he talks about that quite a lot. He absolutely loved his time there, so it's exciting for us all. But it's another game, and we've got to treat it the same in that regard on the pitch. But as an overall spectacle, very exciting, and we can't wait. Roll on kickoff.
Let's talk about Andy then, because he's had quite a few years at Bromley. FA Trophy win, then promotion up to the EFL for the first time in the club's history, and now this big clash against the side that he predicted you guys would draw as well.
Yeah, he kind of manifested that, didn't he? I remember in his post-match interview with us, and even kind of leading up to the FA Cup, it's always Newcastle, 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 and he's definitely manifested that one. He's put it out there, and it's happened. And I remember on the day of the draw, we were sat in a meeting in the boardroom with the chairman, Andy, and the chief exec, and we were all talking about who we wanted to get. And it was all Newcastle United. We're all singing off the same hymn sheet, and for that draw to actually come about is incredible. So it's hugely exciting, like I was saying, and it's a credit to Andy and the team for getting this far. He's had a real big impact since he's been at the football club. He's brought what he's learned at the likes of Newcastle and Arsenal, and he's brought it into Bromley. And that really has helped elevate us as a club, both on and off the pitch. So Andy Woodman, as a character, as a manager, absolutely tip top, and we're really, really pleased to have him. And I think this is going to be a special moment for him as well. He'll play it down because it's not about him. It's about the team and the club. It's never about Andy, and that's just the way he is. But this will be a special moment for him, stepping out onto St James's Park again, this time in the away dugout. He may have had some crosswords with people in that dugout before, I'm sure, back in his Newcastle days. But yeah, he's really excited for it. And as are we all, it's going to be a privilege to be there and be a part of it.
I think the video of the chairman and the owner went viral when the draw was made, if I'm not mistaken. I think the clip was him shouting, "Get Andy on the phone, get Andy on the phone." So just kind of recall, when the draw was made, what was the initial kind of reaction and the initial response?
Well, that was chief exec Mark, and he was with Alan Dunn, the assistant manager, who is a legend at Millwall during his playing days and has been kind of part of the backroom team here actually for longer than Andy. He was here under the previous manager, Neil Smith, and Andy came in and he kind of stayed on. So that was a lovely moment for them to share. And like you say, it did go viral. It was played on TalkSport and everything, which was really, really good. The draw, the reaction to it was obviously a lot of us referred to Andy and the fact that he'd manifested it. But also that, this has been the dream for so many people for such a long time. And, I'm in contact with a lot of our supporters, know a lot of them quite well. And there have been supporters who've been here since, the 50s and even earlier than that, some of them. Some of them may have been at the last time we reached the FA Cup second round in 46, but they've seen some really tough times for this club over the years. It's a very different club now from what it was before. So those are kind of the people you look at and the emotion that they show and what it means to them. And that really kind of hits home as to actually how big this is for Bromley FC and how we've always dreamed of getting to that third round. And finally, we're here. And it's the best tie we could have asked for in the third round.
Your chairman said in an interview this week, which you conducted, that it was a pat on the back and a well done for all the hard work at the club, and that every now and then a club like Bromley need that little bit of luck, and this was the little bit of luck that they've got, drawing Newcastle in the FA Cup.
Yeah, it's absolutely right. Typically we've had kind of some bad luck over the years, and it's been a case of it's just our luck that this has happened. But recently, you look at what the chairman's done for the football club off the field, and bringing in Andy, and really investing in the place, investing in the facilities, and being steady off the pitch before investing money on it. And it is kind of a little pat on the back for everyone who's been here through tough times. Like I was saying about the supporters a moment ago, who've been here a long time and seen Bromley really at some quite low lows, and now we're experiencing the high highs, if you like. And this is certainly one of them. And I don't think it's really sunk in yet. I know it sounds strange, but I don't think it will until we see the players walk out the tunnel on Sunday afternoon, and that really will truly be up there with Wembley for a lot of us. And that was the biggest game in the club's history, getting the promotion to League Two, and a very special day. And there'll be some similarities with this, I'm sure.
Yeah, and the club as well putting on coaches for the fans to get up to Tyneside, which is a lovely gesture as well. The draw was made quite a while ago. It would be easy for clubs to get distracted with the draw and to be thinking ahead about this massive game. But you look at the form of Bromley. I mean, 2 defeats in 17, the first defeat in 13 the weekend just gone against Crewe. So it seems like they've been able to kind of put this tie to the back of the mind and just concentrate on what has been a great run in the league.
That's been the challenge, that you have to think about when the draw comes out. And Andy's very, very good at this in terms of how he manages his team and his players. It's, enjoy, look forward to it by all means. But, that isn't until January. And like you say, this is a few weeks ago, plenty of games in between. And even more recently, when the conversation of, how we're going to travel on the day, or tickets, everything like that, it's very much park that to one side. We've got a League Two game tomorrow. And we focus on that. And that has been hugely successful. Obviously, we had a disappointing result on Sunday, which is a blip. And, every team will go through one of those in a season. So other than that, we've been playing really, really good football recently. It took us a little while to adjust, I think, to the change coming up from the National League. Only club from 72 to have never been in the EFL before. But I think we've made strides towards learning this level, learning the landscape on and off the pitch. It was a very busy summer, very hectic summer. And I think some people underestimate actually the difference in quality. The National League is a very good league. But I think sometimes people just underestimate a little bit that there is a step up. And that's not necessarily what we did at all. But it is something that takes time for a new team to adjust to. And, you hear a lot of noise outside that there isn't much difference between the levels. But having seen it, in person every week, home and away, I can say there definitely is. And we've adjusted really well to that. And yeah, we're really pleased to be here. It's kind of still pinching ourselves of being an EFL club, which, certainly when I walked in and a few others here, we would never have dreamed of. So credit to the chairman, credit to the manager for making that happen ultimately.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful journey. You look at Newcastle United, they're on a great run of form, going strong, of course, in the League Cup, going strong in the league, not likely to play their strongest side on Sunday. But obviously, looking at their form, it is something that a visiting side will definitely be dreading. But at the same time, you could look back over the last few years and Newcastle United eliminated, for example, by Cambridge in this round a few years back. So does that serve up as some kind of hope that you guys can come to St James's Park and get a result?
I mean, yeah, you obviously look at games like that and these things have happened in the past, but, we're quite unique in the way that we operate and the way that we play. And regardless of what results have happened before, we'd still always believe in ourselves. We never go out to lose a game. We're going to go there and give it our all. But yeah, you do look at results like that. People have commented that it is doable. Even if those results hadn't happened, we'd still believe it was doable. And we're going to go there and we're going to try and win a game of football. We're not going there to make up the numbers. But whatever happens, it'll be a special occasion for the fans and for everyone going. So we'll do ourselves proud, hopefully, and I'm sure we will.
Yeah, I'm sure you will as well. Can you just give us a bit of insight into how Bromley set up and how they play? Because I mean, most of our listeners and viewers won't have seen Bromley this season. So if you can provide any insight, that would be much appreciated.
Yeah, so Andy is very clear on how he wants his team to play. It of course depends on the opposition and sometimes on the pitch that you're playing on, because unfortunately not all the pitches up and down the country allow you to kind of play that free-flowing football, and some of the weather conditions we've had recently have put a stop to that as well, with gusts of wind and footballs being blown back to the goalkeeper and things like that. But generally speaking, Andy likes to play a three at the back. He likes his team to play fast-flowing, attacking football, but also be very rigid and solid at the back. And for the most part, you'll have seen the results we had recently, bar Sunday, which was a blip. We've been very defensively resolute. We've started to keep more clean sheets as well, and not concede many goals. And kind of the challenge was, after we adjusted to the league, to start scoring more goals, and we have managed to do that recently. And it was always going to take time. I think it's a case of slow and steady wins the race. And he's very clear that he wants his players to trust the process. It may not work straight away, and it didn't, but it takes time to get to that level of success. And he's proved that time in, time out, that is the way to go. And he's always believed in and stuck by his principles and how he wants his team to play, how he wants his team to conduct themselves, the characteristics he wants to see in a player. And on Sunday, you'll see a side who are passionate about the badge, passionate about each other, will throw their body on the line for their teammates and will give it their absolute all. And that is what Andy is an expert at getting out of his players. We've seen that on so many occasions this season. And I've no doubt that'll be the same on Sunday.
And is there one player in particular that you would recommend Eddie Howe tries to stop on Sunday?
I wouldn't recommend trying to stop him from my perspective, but I've got to shout out Michael Cheek, who joined us back in 2019. And I'm sure some people listening, if they've looked up any of our players, he might be the one that possibly stands out just in terms of his goal scoring. We've got an excellent squad here of great people as well as great players. And Andy has always stated that sometimes the person is more important than the player necessarily, in the sense that, Andy and his coaching staff have developed players and worked with them and made them better players. But you've got to have the right mindset and attitude to do that, and some level of talent, of course. But Michael Cheek, I think 14 goals in all competitions this year. He is playing his first ever season in the EFL at the age of 33, has a really interesting footballing background, and kind of was semi-pro for a long time, up until joining Dagenham and Redbridge, and then stayed in the National League basically for a while. Joined us. We tried to get him on many occasions, and he finally joined us. And he was our top scorer every single year since he signed here. He's been Mr. Consistent. He's helped get us promoted, scored the 2 goals at Wembley and scored a penalty in the shootout, scored the winner against Wrexham in the FA Trophy at Wembley in 2022 as well. And has just been a pleasure to work with. The most low maintenance, down to earth person you could, wish to meet, and someone who has grown to love this club, and has come a bit of a cult hero as well amongst the fans. And he is the all-time leading National League goal scorer. But now he's got a chance to prove himself in the EFL and prove the doubters wrong. When we got promoted, what was on everyone's lips was, can Michael Cheek carry this on? Or is he a National League player? And I think the proof's in the pudding, as they say. 14 goals already this year, joint top goal scorer in the league as well, with 12 or 13, I can't quite remember. Just a player who will keep on scoring goals. And when we did an interview with him, I said to him, how do you do it? How do you adapt to the new level and keep on scoring? And he said one thing which really resonated with me, which was the goal never moves. And it's true, isn't it? It's very simple, but that's his philosophy on it. And it amazes me how, he can be quiet all game, but he can still score 2 or 3 goals. And defensively, he's an important player as well for us. So certainly there are too many to pick from. But if you force me to choose one, because of how long he's been here as well, and how consistent he's been across that time, it'll be Cheeky. He
was the one that I had written down on my list. I think he's got more than 100 goals, isn't it, for Bromley? When I saw the record, I was, it got my attention most certainly. And am I right in thinking as well, you've got a boyhood Newcastle United fan in the squad as well? In Levi?
Yes, Levi. Yeah, Levi Manchi. So Levi is from Newcastle. His family still live in Newcastle. So as you can imagine, they'll all be coming on Sunday, and it's going to be a rare occasion. They're in the away end because they're all Newcastle fans. But obviously, seeing your family member and your son or your brother, whoever, play is a special occasion for them all. Levi's a lovely guy, but yeah, he's very, very proud of his Newcastle roots, and is a big Newcastle fan. And we did like a preview with the players before the draw, and we said, who do you want to draw? And along with Andy, Levi said Newcastle. So yeah, it's a great moment for him and his family, and I'm sure he'll have lots of friends and like I say, family backing him on the day.
And it's nice, isn't it? Because we seem to have quite a few different kind of stories. You've got Michael there, maybe coming to the end of his career at his age, going up to playing a big stadium in a big club like this. And then you've got a few of the youngsters who might, even if they just get on the bench, for example, still living out that dream that most of us will never ever get to do. So it's nice that you've got these different strands of kind of emotional kind of stories, I guess, heading into Sunday.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We always say this. We've got a good balance here of youth and experience in this squad, and that's something that Andy has deliberately put into place. You've got the young lads. One has come through the system here, Jude Arthurs, who will hopefully be playing. And what a moment for him. Bromley player since the age of 16, 17, whatever he was, has come through and forced his way into the first team, and he's playing great football at the moment. And then, like you say, you've got the opposite end of the spectrum, and you look at someone like Carl Jenkinson, who's played against Newcastle for Arsenal in the Premier League, and it's kind of, I think a lot of the players the younger players particularly, will be kind of looking to him for that guidance. And, this is how you deal with the pressure. This is how you deal with the noise, because Carl's a player that has played in front of, huge crowds when he's played for Arsenal and West Ham as well. So it's great to have him in and around the camp. He's a fantastic character, Carl Jenkinson, and someone that, again, has really brought down his experience and is happy to share it with the younger players. The captain, Byron Webster, a club legend, got the club promoted with the winning penalty kick, and again, a moment that went viral there with a little look at the camera and the smirk at the goalkeeper who was trying to put him off. So yeah, you've got a really good mix there, and they all, although they're, you've got some players there, and there's like almost a 20-year age difference between some of our players, which is ridiculous, isn't it, in football terms? But they all work together as one. You wouldn't know that. They're all as close as you like off the pitch. And I think that shows on it as well. And that's what Andy wants from his team. So, yeah, there is a really good mix. And you've got players that will have played against the likes of Newcastle before, and others that this will be a first and very, very special time for them. And hopefully the first of many to come.
Yes, fingers crossed. And am I right in thinking this is the game against Sunday comes, and then there's a bit of a break for you guys as well?
Yeah, so unlike yourselves, actually, you've of course got a game against Wolves on Wednesday, haven't you? So we've got, I say a break, it's a 6-day period until Saturday, and we've got Colchester United at home. So, whatever happens, focus is back on the league at that point, and that's something that Andy will really instill in his team after the full-time whistle in the dressing room at St James's Park. Whatever happens, focus is back on next week now, and he's very, very good at breaking that down for his team. But yeah, League Two has been an education for us, and being in the EFL, and it's been a pleasure for someone like myself who's been here since we were in the Conference South fighting relegation, and having 250 people come to watch us every week to what we're getting now, and playing at Wembley 3 times in the last 6 years, and now a trip to St James's Park, which I think I mentioned to you off air. We played Gateshead a lot in the National League, and we used to drive down towards the town centre, and you'd see St James's Park in the distance, and we'd say to our friends and colleagues, we'd say, we'll play there one day, as a joke. And little did we know that 2025 would be that year that we get to play there. So yeah, really excited.
And what would be the message, you think, from Andy just before the teams run out? Will it be one of just trying to get them really focused and kind of saying, don't worry about what's out there, don't worry about the big stands and obviously the players that you potentially face, and just kind of concentrate on what you guys can do to win this game?
Absolutely. Andy's whole mantra is take care of our own business. We can't control how well our opposition are going to play on the day. In a sense, you can restrict them, of course, but it's about how we perform. And like you say, he'll be asking them to focus. He'll be asking them to work hard for one another, work hard for the team, and not to worry about the surroundings, the noise. We know it's going to be a fantastic atmosphere, but maybe look at that away end and remember why we're doing this, and what our motivation is to do ourselves proud and to make history for the club, which these group of players have done. a lot of them now have done this 3 or 4 times. Some of them, helped get us promoted and are now in a football league team. So, I think it's going to be a case of give 100%, leave nothing out on that pitch, but focus on us, focus on the team, not the noise necessarily, not the opposition. Do your best, give 100%, and show those characteristics that we've shown so much in the league recently. In a sense, you're kind of looking at this is another game of football. Yes, it's against a top side in what will be an incredible atmosphere, but just take it as you would a league game, because that's what's worked for us so far.
And I guess the team talk might be slightly different to how it might have been a few years ago for a lower league club going to a Premier League side, because there aren't any replays. A few years ago it might have been, we'll try and hold them and take them back down to ours, which I think for most football fans, don't want to put words in your mouth, Matt, but certainly from my point of view, that is a big frustration that change has come in, because could you have imagined if it was a replay down at your place? It would have been some spectacle.
Yeah, it would have been fantastic. I mean, we're just grateful to have the opportunity to have this fixture at St James's Park. But yes, I can understand it from both sides, and it is one that some of the lower league clubs suffer. But ultimately, we know that it's got to be decided on the day. We've had this big games decided on the day, playoff final, exact instance of that. And, the pressure is on that day to get the job done. And we did in the most dramatic fashion. But we did. And this is kind of another one of those instances. We know we're going to have to be fit as fiddles out there, because, if we push Newcastle, the game could go into extra time. And, playing against a Premier League side, you're going to be put up against it, for 90 minutes regardless. So, I can understand why that decision was made. It would be nice to come here and see a Premier League team visit, and I'm sure we will see that in the not too distant future. But Andy's team talk will very much be go out there and try and win this game. Don't go out there to lose. We never go out to lose a game, and we won't ever do that. So go out to win, go out to enjoy it, and go and give 110%, like I'm saying. And those are kind of Andy's non-negotiables. Put the effort in and go out and do your thing, basically.
And you mentioned there you've been at the club quite a while, and maybe it might be the same for the owner and the chairman as well. Will there be a bit of emotion when the players run on that pitch and get ready to kick the game off?
Certainly will. Yeah, certainly will. I remember the first time I ever walked into Bromley Football Club back in 2011, and I walked in. The stadium is nothing like what it is now. We had, like I said earlier, about 200 to 250 people average per week. We lost my first game convincingly, and against Eastbourne Borough, I seem to remember. And I think I went in at the beginning of December, and it took me until mid-March to see Bromley win a game in any competition. So looking back at that, and now looking to where this club's come from a personal level, and also being able to work here as well full time is a dream for the club you support. So looking at it from that perspective, it's going to be another pinch yourself moment, like it was with Wembley, like it was with the FA Trophy, and even getting into the playoffs and games like that. So yeah, there will be emotion. I'm sure the chairman will feel a great sense of pride for the club that he has really propelled into this position, and Andy should feel the same way. And the players, everyone involved has had a part to play in this. From the top to the bottom, and everyone's done what they've needed to do to make this happen and to get to this stage and head in the right direction as a unit, as a club. So we've all pulled into this together on and off the pitch, and it is going to be emotional for a lot of us. And I'm really looking forward to it. I have to say, it won't feel real until that moment, I think.
Well, just finally then, Matt, just sum up what we can expect from Bromley on Sunday.
You can expect a side that will wear their heart on their sleeve, will give absolutely everything, will relish playing in the atmosphere, I think. On a lesser scale, we've played in some interesting atmospheres in our time in the National and now the Football League. This will be a whole new level, but I think the players will relish that. And like I say, we've got a couple of players who've had that experience of playing in those environments. And you'll get a team that look out for one another, that will put their body on the line for one another and for the club, and that will play with 100% all of the time. That's what the manager demands, and that's what he gets from this team, which is a truly special team of great people and great players. And I hope that each and every one of them can enjoy the game as well, because it's a great experience for them all, no matter how old or young they are.
Well, I wish you a safe journey up to Tyneside and all the Bromley fans as well. It's going to hopefully be a very entertaining game. Thank you to everyone who has watched this and listened to it. Remember that it is sponsored by NordVPN. And if you want to get yourself a very special discount offer, hit the link in the podcast description box for that. Thank you to Matt for joining us. And for myself, I will see you guys very soon.